Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much to South Sound Magazine for having me. I'm so honored to be here tonight next to these incredible women who are telling their powerful stories. As the wonderful MC said, my name is Monica Gonzales. I am a mom of 2 young babies. I am a philanthropist, a nutritionist, a fitness trainer, and like many women do, I wear a lot of hats. My husband wears a hat too, because he has to. He is a baseball player, as you guys just heard. He's been a pitcher for the Seattle Mariners since 2017. Oh, thank you. Look at him, isn't he cute? That's him being competitive. We've proudly been pouring our hearts into Seattle and the greater Seattle community for the past 7 years, with a large thanks in part to his job with the Seattle Mariners. We have been passionate about our community work for a long time. There is one particular cause that is important to us that we work to benefit, which I'm grateful to be able to share with you tonight. But I think an important part of the message I want to share is the unique path that I've been on that brought me to this point. I've not been preparing to do the work that I do now, yet I believe strongly that our past experiences and our perspective can leave us more prepared than we may initially believe. Every direction your life takes you, whether you feel in control or not, leaves you with a unique set of tools and experiences that can come together in a very powerful way. So just a little background on my story and our journey. I grew up in Redmond, Washington, with an amazing family and support system. And Marco and I met at Gonzaga University in Spokane. Go Zags. Woo! I studied sports marketing and community relations. He played baseball, and I worked my way through several internships and side jobs. There we are, we're kind of goofy and young. He liked my little internship, khaki pants. I liked his baseball pants, it all worked out. But while many of my friends enjoyed their summer breaks, I was always working multiple internships at a time. I had a direction I was very passionate about as early as freshman year, and I knew I was setting myself up for success in that field. My humble boyfriend at the time did not help me to anticipate what was going to come next. He was drafted in the first round by the St. Louis Cardinals, and I quickly came to understand the demand professional sports puts on families and players and their relationships. Not many people know that in professional baseball, how challenging it is to get to ultimately where he is now. This new job meant he would immediately need to move to Florida or Missouri, we didn't know. It meant that he would not have any control over where we lived or he lived, and he would often have to move to a new city within a day's notice due to trades or being released or promoted or demoted. And wherever I was with him in his home city, wherever that may be, he would still be gone half the time. So when he was drafted and I was so passionate about my own career at that time, I broke up with him. So sad. During our time apart, I landed a job working for a top sports and entertainment agency in the industry. And thankfully, we didn't stay apart for very long, and we navigated the challenges of minor league baseball together. I did eventually change my career so that we could be together, but that same sport agency that I worked at now later came to represent Marco, thanks to his amazing talent, of course, but also thanks to my connections and relationships, and we now still get to work with the industry's best. It all worked out. So once I left that sport agency, I decided to change to something that was much more transferable, so that we could travel together. I began working in the fitness industry and would later begin my master's in clinical nutrition while he worked his way through the minor league system. We moved around the country together, and I spent time opening fitness studios in the cities we lived in. I worked as a regional manager with Orange Theory Fitness, and I worked at 10 different studios across 5 different states and opened 3 gyms in about 3 years. My passion for helping people in fitness turned into a mission for overall health and has led to an area of focus for our philanthropic efforts today, which is food insecurity. Access to nutritious and affordable food is increasingly difficult, so Marco and I have partnered with Northwest Harvest for several years, a large food bank that shares our mission to increase access to healthy foods. We are proud to continue to work with them today, but one of my favorite projects that we've done with them is the food drive. In 2020, we launched virtually when hundreds of thousands of kids were cut off from school lunches. We worked to bring over 1 million meals to kids in Washington state. I believe it was my work and obviously our team work together that really helped open our eyes to a much bigger problem, and we could make a bigger impact. And now for the biggest challenge we have yet to face. and our main mission going forward. MSA. It all started back in 2016 while Marco and I were living in Florida. My mom, my best friend, was diagnosed with a rare neurodegenerative disease called multiple systems atrophy. It attacks the central nervous system, controlling how a person moves, and their autonomic nervous system, which controls our involuntary functions such as digestion and blood pressure. It's a progressive, awful disease, and it's incredibly rare. Life expectancy after onset of symptoms is just 6 to 9 years. There is currently no medication or support to alleviate symptoms, and because of the rarity of the disease, MSA is in great need for funding and overall awareness. This diagnosis absolutely devastated us. It crumbled our world. I felt as though doctors must have had it wrong. I couldn't believe it. And as my family adjusted and began to battle this awful disease, alongside my mom, I tried my best to focus on something, anything positive. I tried to believe that there was a reason our family was chosen to carry this burden. What good could come of this awful disease, if any? Was it my mom's resilience and her strength that she modeled for us day in and day out to an extreme extent? Was it the constant grace she showed everybody that we could all learn from? Was it Marco and I's unique platform that could help make this a positive for the greater good and for her? We won't ever know the answer. All we can do is face the challenges that are in front of us and try to find the light. So that's how we attack this. We move forward as best we could, putting one foot in front of the other. It was a very unique position that I found myself in. While my family and my mom suffered from one of the most debilitating diseases, my husband was winning Major League Baseball games in front of thousands of fans. I've been able to hear a stadium filled with 40,000 people cheer him on and chant his name, while I've also held my mom's hand through some of the most heartbreaking moments. As the tight-knit family that we are, we really do experience it all together. And you could say we really were living through some of life's highest highs and lowest lows at the exact same time. The bright lights of our baseball world could not take away from the dark cloud that was MSA. And the word grace became much more important to our family, to be gracious in everything life gives you and challenges you with. We lost my mom to MSA in 2021 while we were expecting our first baby. During her lifetime, and especially in her battle, she exemplified the true meaning of grace and unconditional love and gratitude. As she faced daily challenges and her body failed her, she focused on others and she always assumed the best in people. Life moves fast, and she showed us the true value of time spent with one another, just sitting together and enjoying a glass of wine. For Marco and I, it has become our mission to fundraise and create as much awareness for MSA as we possibly can, while we will always be quietly covering from the heartbreak the disease has caused us. So, along with the many different MSA initiatives that we've been a part of for the last several years, we partnered with some dear friends at Noviello Vineyards and created our own wine, Grace G7. It donates a percentage of each bottle purchased to MSA and Defeat MSA Alliance specifically. We want this bottle to remind everybody to slow down, to enjoy time together, and to be gracious in both challenging and triumphant moments in life. So here we are today, putting one foot in front of the other still, and always doing the best with what we have, and always looking for the good. We now have 2 beautiful babies, Grace Linda, named after my mom, and Siena Marie, who just joined us about 5 months ago, almost 5 months ago. She's really smiley, you can't tell in that picture. But as I began this conversation, I have not been preparing for where we are today, but I know the tools from my past and the experiences that I've had can come together to make a difference. That agency I worked for shortly after college is the same agency that brought us to Seattle and helped secure a long-term contract with this team in this city that we all love. If Marco wasn't a baseball player, then I may not have been able to spend the time with my mom that I did while she battled her disease. The passion and experience I have as a health professional brings a unique insight to our partnership with Northwest Harvest and our mission to make healthy food available. And while we will always be recovering from the devastation of an awful disease, we will continue to shine light on the need for funding and to create awareness for a better future. So we will keep moving forward, carrying on my mom's legacy, fighting MSA through all of life, and being as gracious as we possibly can through all of life's triumphs and challenges. And we'll continue to show each other grace. And I put on the QR code in case anybody would like to buy a bottle of Grace. We couldn't get it here tonight, but if you would like to purchase, please scan that code and follow along. Thank you so much.